to Trout Talk, the official podcast of your Mississauga Steelheads. This is episode 2 of this year. We went live on location at the Royal Ontario Golf Club at the Steelheads golf tournament, which was July 23rd, about a month ago. So this is episode 2. We're back again for a second year, and my name is Mike Karafilidis. You'll hear me on the road broadcast for the Mississauga Steelheads this year, and joining me once more is Brendan Lang, another broadcaster of the Mississauga Steelheads. You'll hear him on the home broadcast. My man, Brendan, welcome back, and we are ready to rock and roll, especially with this Steelheads team. But first, how was your summer, my man?
Yeah, the summer's still going on. Don't cut it too short, Mikey. The summer's still happening. So let's not say that it's done yet.
Over. Yeah.
It is almost over though. It's getting a little colder out. But no, summer's been pretty good. You know, been playing a lot of golf. You just mentioned there the Steelheads golf tournament. We played together in the same group with Jacob Goldback, who was also on the live on location. But yeah, I mean, summer's been pretty good. Not a ton going on, just working, golfing. That's pretty much what's been going on. You know, it felt
rodeos.
Like every time. Yeah, rodeos. That's right. I did go to a rodeo. Went to see Green Day live, which was a very good concert. They put on a great show. That's right. I forgot about the rodeo. Thanks for throwing that in there, Mikey. That was a good
absolutely,
time.
Absolutely, no problem. I mean, that's great. I mean, summer's almost over. We're almost ready for this Steelhead season. And my summer, man, it's been the golf. I golfed with you a couple times actually. Well, we went whatnot, and I stink. Let's be honest. And I don't know what happened. We went probably to one of the hardest golf courses. What was it called again? Braben.
The one that yeah, well, we played at Braben. Yeah,
it's a hard course, everybody, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, it's a tougher course. It's very hilly. You know, it was built on top of a garbage dump, so it's it's pretty hilly with all the trash underneath it. But yeah, it's a pretty good course. Royal Ontario also a very difficult course that we played.
We had a really
we did.
Royal Ontario was great. We had a really good time, and it was well put together by the Steelheads organization. By Michael Hastings, Christian Lazar, Tim Layton, and the gang. It was nice to be involved in it, of course, and have our live on location there. And just a reminder that this podcast won't be on the radio. We will have this podcast every Sunday, 1 hour before game time on Sunday games. So just to let everybody know about that. But this podcast will be, of course, once a week on the Steelheads platform, and we'll be on Saga 960 platform as well. So my goodness, the Steelheads, what can you say so far? My goodness me. Everybody's saying this is the year. We will talk about that in a bit. Let's just say that right now. And we have our special guest. We're waiting for him. And I'll tell you right now, I'm going to introduce him. Here is our special guest. He's 20 years old, drafted in the second round by the Columbus Blue Jackets, 44th overall, former Steelheads alum, Luca Del Bel Belluz. There he is right there, Luca. Oh, he's looking good. Luca, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Doing fantastic. So, first of all, I want to say congratulations. I mean, of course, being drafted by the Blue Jackets. I mean, I've seen you before that, or I told you that before, or whatnot. But wow, what an accomplishment! Talk about that. Talk about where you were, like when you got drafted. Let's talk about that first.
Where I was when I got drafted?
Yeah. Where were you?
Well, I was at the draft in Montreal with.
Oh yeah, that's right. You went to go say hi to Owen Beck.
I was at the draft in Montreal with my parents, a bunch of extended family as well. So I got to experience that. It was a cool thing to be a part of, and
And how's the summer been going? Kind of the first summer here, first off season, I guess, after making your pro debut last year. What's been going on, and how has it kind of been different from when you were playing in junior before?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been different. I feel like I've taken a different approach to the off ice work, and in order to be like successful in pro, you have to be stronger, get stronger. And I think I've, taken it a lot more serious. And like I said, I've taken a different approach to it. So I've been pretty dialed in, and yeah.
So, Luca, you spent last year with the Cleveland Monsters, of course, 9 goals, 22 assists, 31 points when you played with Cleveland. That's one of my favorite towns because I'm a Cleveland Browns fan. So I love Cleveland. We'll get to that in a second. But I want to talk about one thing here. You scored on your very first NHL shot. You came out of the penalty box, came down that wing, got the puck, shot it, and I can't remember the goal you beat in Carolina, but what was going through your mind when you scored that goal? And don't say it was a blur.
Yeah, I mean, I came out of the box there, and I kind of just got the puck in the neutral zone, skated up, and what was going through my head was just like, I want to try to get this puck on net, one-on-one defenseman. I'm probably not going to beat him, one-on-one, so I probably got to find a way to get this puck through. Ended up just shooting it under his triangle of his stick. Got it through on net. It's probably one of the hardest shots I've ever taken. And I just feel like a lot of adrenaline came off really hot off the stick, and beat the goalie. And then after that, honestly, it kind of just blacked out. I celebrated, and then I think you can see me after. I'm just kind of looking around, and I'm like, what happened? It was kind of crazy.
So you score that goal. That's kind of the culmination of everything. But obviously, you get called up the same day as well. Everything kind of happened quickly. So, what was the story? Where were you when you got the call that you were going to be going up? And then just kind of what was that like, getting everything ready? What were you thinking about, kind of going into your first NHL game?
Yeah, I mean, we had just finished back-to-back games against Laval that weekend, and I was doing video with my coaches after practice, and just going over a few things. And as I was doing video with the coaches, the GM called our head coach and was like, Del Bel got called up. Are you near him or anything? And it happened to be that I was in the video office with them, or the coach's office. And right from there, I went home quickly, got all my stuff, like a suit, and packed a few things, and headed right there.
All right, Luca, as I said, you scored your very first NHL shot. So I'm going to let you know who you're in, who else has scored in their first NHL shot. So this is the company that you're in with. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Danny Gare. You know what that is?
I've heard the name, yeah.
Okay.
I heard the name, yeah.
Alexander Mogilny.
Yeah, I know that.
Max Comtois.
Yeah.
Mario Lemieux.
Yeah.
Gabriel Velarde. I'm naming all these names here. Nikita Kucherov.
Yeah.
Lucas Kondetta. Vitaly Yachmanev. Alexei Morozov. Rob Ray in Buffalo. Oh, Rob Ray. Actually, when I saw that Rob Ray, my goodness. I thought he was a fighter, right?
Yeah.
Fighter. Luke Robitaille, Rick Rippon. So how does that make you feel? I'm sure you hear that a lot. Talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you've named a lot of, high-end NHL players, and it's obviously great to be, named with them. But at the end of the day, it's just one goal, and still a lot more work to do.
And last year, I mean, of course, we're talking about your NHL debut, but playing the full season with Cleveland, Mikey alluded to as well. You get into the playoffs as well, playing 9 games for Cleveland in the playoffs that year. So how did the playoffs kind of stack up to what you thought they'd be in your first professional go around, and how does that help you moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lie. My first playoffs, I struggled a little bit offensively. I was getting a lot of chances, but, I was a little bit of snake bit. So it was kind of got a little frustrating. But as it went on, I kind of was able to, control myself, control my emotions, and kind of put everything together. I was playing a big role. I was playing as our number one centerman. So obviously I had a big job and a big opportunity. And it was great. We obviously went to the conference finals, game 7. I mean, you can't ask for a better year, honestly, except for, of course, if we won.
Okay, I mean, we're probably your biggest fans, just to let you know, number one. So unbelievable, you scored your first. The way you did it, you're probably going to have so much time this year, a lot more opportunity with this young Columbus squad as well.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, a young squad, and you never know what can happen going into camp. So there's definitely a great opportunity there. But at the end of the day, it's all up to me and what I can do at camp.
You talk about it being a young team. Does that kind of help you that everybody's, or not everybody, but a lot of the guys are kind of in the same boat as you, starting out your NHL careers, and you're going to be kind of moving forward through your first full season and everything like that with guys that you've come up with now for a couple of years?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, yeah, a lot of young guys. Obviously, they're really talented players as well, and yeah, it's good competition, and we all want to be. At the end of the day, we all want to be playing for the Blue Jackets. So, yeah, we're gonna give it our all, and may the best man win, I guess.
I gotta ask you this. When you made your debut, who was the first person you talked to in the room? To calm you down, kind of thing, or who was the guy that kind of took you under their wing? Like say, hey, Luca, don't worry, just play your game, or whatnot.
I mean, there's a few guys. I mean, obviously our captain, Brendan Lang, he's from Toronto as well. So we have a pretty good relationship. He's obviously older than I am by 10 years. So, he was a guy that, I really looked up to when I was in Cleveland. And, he was at the time he was in Columbus already. So I told him I was coming up. He kind of texted me, called me, whatever. And yeah, it's just there was a lot of guys that, had reached out because obviously they heard the news and, they all just say like, it's just another game, play like how you play down here in Cleveland. And obviously enjoy it because you only get one first game and yeah, try to make the best of it.
And there's a video going around before your debut that you saw Evgeny Kuznetsov before you got in there, and Dmitry Orlov as well from Carolina. So what was that like? And did that kind of help you calm down a little bit, seeing some guys from the other team helping you out a bit?
Yeah, I don't know if that made me calm down or maybe even more nervous, but yeah, I was walking in and Kuznetsov, grabbed my sticks and he was making a good joke out of it. And I mean, it was awesome. It's kind of like your welcome to the NHL moment. It doesn't really happen too often. So yeah, definitely a cool moment. And yeah, I mean, good on those guys. They were awesome about it, and yeah.
Anyway, so how are the fans out there? I'm sure they welcomed you with open arms and whatnot because you seem to be pretty popular, what I see amongst Columbus fans. So talk to me about the fan support over there.
Yeah, I mean, they're great. Obviously, they're as you guys can see, they're very loyal. I mean, almost every game is sold out, even though they're not the greatest right now. But yeah, they show up and they cheer as loud as they can, and they really get behind the team. So yeah, they're really awesome.
And just kind of moving on to pro hockey last year from junior, of course, finishing out your career with Sarnia. What's kind of the biggest difference there? You get the one game in the NHL, but playing most of the season in the AHL. What was the biggest difference you saw from your junior days and then moving on to pro hockey?
I think just the speed and pace of my game. I mean, in junior, sometimes you can get away with like floating around a little bit, but once you get to pro, you got to give 110% every shift because there's a lot of guys that are bigger, faster, stronger. So, you're battling against these guys, night in, night out. And, yeah, you got to be at your best.
Yeah, unbelievable. I of course, you got to be your best with everything, but it's you. I already looking at you. You look like you're bigger and you're stronger, whatnot. So what kind of, are you under any special workout routine with anybody? Talk about that.
Yeah, I work out at Gary Roberts. Obviously, he's got a great program over there. A lot of high end NHL talent that I'm surrounded by, and yeah, they got a great program over there, and they treat me really well. So yeah, it's been awesome.
And you talk about the off ice stuff. You're saying getting stronger. You're saying working out with Gary Roberts, but on the ice too. I mean, is there anybody specific that you've been skating with over the off season, or is it the same guys, or what has that been like?
Yeah, I mean, I also skate at Gary Roberts, and there's a bunch of NHL players that I'm on the ice with. A bunch of names. I mean, Connor McDavid, Zach Hyman, Darnell Nurse, Draisaitl. There's a ton. Robert Thomas. You're always surrounded by those guys, and whether you're working out or you're on the ice, so it's a good environment to be in because those guys push you to be at your best every day, and yeah, you obviously want to prove that you're just as good and that you can compete with them.
Luke, it's nice. I would say this is it's awesome to see you. I haven't seen you in a long time. We had a pretty good relationship before you got traded to Sarnia, which I was heartbroken. So I want to talk about one thing though. The Cleveland Monsters, you guys made a really nice run last year, and you were a key part of that team. Talk about the city of Cleveland and how they supported, and talk about that team.
Honestly,
I want to talk about Cleveland, the city, in a second.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, the older guys were very easy to talk to. They helped you out with stuff. If you ever had any questions, anyone would answer. And, yeah, it was just a great environment to be a part of. Very tight team. We always did stuff away from the rink. And yeah, I guess that's a key part of why we went far, because we were so close as a team. So yeah, it was great.
And I know the answer Mikey wants to hear, but did you become a Cleveland Browns fan while you were down there?
You better. I don't want to hear that.
Yeah, I mean, 100%.
They're unacceptable. No is not the answer. Yes, you did. You did.
No. No, I did. Yeah, I did. 100%.
My man, that's what I want to hear. Okay. Did you go to any Browns
I feel
games?
like every.
Sorry, Luca.
No, I didn't. But a couple tailgates and. No, just a couple tailgates and whatnot. But yeah, it was awesome. I mean, the city of Cleveland, like, it turns into like a party whenever they play. It's like everyone's got a Browns jersey on that day. I bought a Browns jersey myself just for that reason. So yeah, I'm all in for the Browns, and yeah, it's awesome.
Oh my God, I love it so much. Did you go to the Muni lot? Is that probably where you went?
What?
The Muni lot? It's called the Muni lot.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
The best. You have to wake up 5:30 in the morning to get a spot. Okay, so tell me your favorite place in Cleveland to eat.
I think I'm cut out. I think my Wi-Fi is terrible. I don't know what's going on right now.
I don't know.
Oh, we still got you.
Oh, you got me
we're
still?
good. Yeah. You're good. So what's your favorite?
Yeah, ask the question again, Mike.
Yeah, I definitely didn't hear you.
What's your favorite place? No problem. What's your favorite place to eat in Cleveland?
Okay. There's obviously a lot of great spots to eat in Cleveland, but I think like the most popular spot that like we would always go to as like a team and like all the guys, we'd always go to Town Hall. I think like it was a very like, healthy choice for us to go there, and it obviously turns into a little bit of a bar at nighttime. So yeah, it's always busy. It's legit always busy there. So it's a pretty good spot. Yeah, I'd say.
And talking about food, what are you usually eating before games? Are you going somewhere to eat before? Are you making something yourself?
Games?
What does that look like? Yeah.
I think you cut out again. I missed that. I missed the back end of the question, but
no. Just what are you eating before games? Are you going out to eat? Are you cooking something yourself? Like what does it look like?
I started cooking for myself at the beginning, but that didn't last too long. I don't know. I got kind of lazy, and then I wanted to order food so that way I can actually get my pregame nap in. And yeah, I mean, I guess I could have done a better job of like prepping my meals beforehand, but yeah, I ended up ordering a plate of pasta and chicken before the games.
That's it.
That's a good one.
That's the best one. Okay, so Luca, you got 51. I'm gonna just use your career as a Steelhead. I'm not gonna look at your whole OHL career. Of course, you did get traded to Sarnia. I just want to talk about your career as a Steelhead. Of course, 51 goals, 72 assists, 123 points, my man. Unbelievable in 3 seasons as a Mississauga Steelhead. Talk about your experience in Mississauga, now Brampton, of course, but your experience in Mississauga. Talk about the goal you remember the most. Talk about the guys you still talk with or you still keep in touch with.
Yeah, I mean, the OHL, I mean, you hear this a lot from a lot of different guys, but probably the most fun I've had in hockey in a long time. I mean, you make great connections, great friendships. And yeah, you come into the OHL I was a 15-year-old, 16-year-old. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's obviously different. You move away from home, and obviously the game's a little different. It's a lot faster, a lot from like minor hockey, obviously. And yeah, there's obviously different learning curves I had to go through in order to, succeed at that level. But yeah, like you said, you make a lot of friendships and guys I still talk to today, and I'll continue to talk to for hopefully the rest of my life. And yeah, it was just some of the most fun I've had in hockey.
Probably still talk to Hardy. You guys are best friends, correct?
Yeah. Me and Hards talk a lot. We're actually golfing tomorrow.
Ha!
How's the golf game looking?
Mine's good, but he's too good.
He's on a different
Okay.
level, that guy. I remember the golf tournament last year. My goodness, you guys were all business. In the golf tournament last year, the Steelheads golf tournament. I'm walking in. You guys are like with the shoes and the socks. I'm coming in with my running shoes. I'm like, look at these guys. Anyway, it's good. It's good to see, right? But it's good that you keep in contact with all that. Let's talk about James Richmond. How much he helped you personally, and helped you grow as a person.
Yeah. Well, JR, obviously, when I first came into the league, as you can see by my points, I think I had 58 games played, 1 goal, 5 assists, something like that. And obviously struggled a lot because I think I was like minus 13 as well. And yeah, I think the biggest thing for JR was to try to turn me into a two-way centerman. JR knew I had the skill and the brain to be in the offensive zone, but I really needed to work on my game defensively. So yeah, that was a big part big part of his coaching strategy was to just try and really dig down deep in the D zone, and I worked on it a ton with him, and it kind of helped me, and I grew as a player.
And what parts of playing with Mississauga and in the Steelheads organization really helped you kind of for the next level? Was it the defensive play that you think was maybe the biggest thing, or were there other parts of the game? Of course, you were there for a long time and a long part of your developmental process, but what was sort of kind of the biggest thing that they helped you moving forward in your career?
Yeah, no, I'd definitely say the defensive zone stuff. It's become so important when you move to the next level because, I mean, if you can't play in every zone, you're not really going to play. So with JR, cracking down on that and, turning me into, not a defensive liability. Yeah, it's probably the biggest thing.
So how about let's talk about the face-off king, Jeff Kuzakos. He had a lot of influence on your career as well. Former assistant coach with the Steelheads. Now he's with the Kitchen Rangers.
Yeah, Crackers was awesome. We'd always do face-off work and even some skill stuff too. Anytime we texted him beforehand if we wanted to like go on the ice early and do stuff, he would always say yes and help us out as much as possible. So yeah, he was awesome for us. And I skated with him yesterday, so I still talk to him as well. And yeah,
nice. Did you tell him you're coming on the show?
No, I didn't mention it.
Oh, okay. We had him on once before. We had him on way before last year. He's quite the character, Crackers. Yeah. We all know that.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Last question for me. For your season last year playing in the AHL, what was your favorite arena to play in or favorite city to play in?
This is an easy one, actually. Laval. I mean, you probably other than us, because
right,
obviously
of course.
we have the best rink with playing in the same rink as the Cavs and all of that. Like our rink is the nicest, but Laval away as an away team, it's phenomenal. They hold like 10,000 people. They sell it out every night. The atmosphere is great. We got pumped both times we played there, but it was still a good place to play.
That's okay. You know what? Sometimes you're going to get pumped. Sometimes you're going to win. Then you're going to pump them. They're going to pump you. You know the way it goes. It's
exactly. That's exactly what happened.
Place,
and they came.
That's right.
They came to our rink, and then we won both games. So it's all good.
So Luca, do you still watch the Steelheads now to this day? And, like you're cheering for them and talk about that. Of course, your father, of course, he still goes to games. I know that for a fact. And he's a big fan. So how about yourself? What can you say this year to Steelheads fans and Steelheads players on the team? Because with this team that they've assembled, talk about that. Tell me what you would say.
I mean, I still follow them. Like I still play there. Like I said, the OHL was an awesome place for me. Mississauga helped me, and I still follow them. I follow every trade they made. The last couple ones they've made. They have a very, very, very promising group coming into this year. They have so much talent up front, and the pickups that they just made with Spencer Sova and Carson Rakoff are really good pickups. Carson, you're getting a 50-goal scorer who can score at will. And I think with Spencer Sova, you're getting a really steady defenseman who can fly. He's very fast. and he'll probably be a good offensive threat on the back end for you guys. But yeah, I think the forward group is just, I think it's unmatched with the forwards. You know, Porter, Misa, Rakoff, McDonnell, Carmiris, Van Volsen. Like, I don't know, I'm probably missing a few guys too, but Zabeski, like, you guys, it's going to be a really good team. I think everyone's going to be chasing the Steelheads because they look like they got the best roster.
Yeah, unbelievable, Luca. You know what? I'm telling you right now. We're all your biggest fans. I'm probably your biggest fan. I'm your biggest fan. I'll tell you that right now. So, you're gonna have a big year this year. You keep working hard. You keep being you, because you're a good guy. You're very, very humble, and you're very good on the ice, and that's what matters the most. You know what I mean? And you're Italian, so that's good too, right? So yeah, but I want to thank you so much for coming on, Luca. Again, we wish you all the best in your career. Hopefully we can have you on again if you would like.
Yeah.
And we can talk some more, and go Browns, baby.
Yeah, of course. Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Thank you
Luca.
guys. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thanks, you too, buddy. All right. So that was Luca Del Bel Belluz. And wow. He is a very, very good player, scoring on his first NHL shot, as we talked about, against Carolina. He's got a lot more. He's got a lot of potential. He's going to score a lot of goals in the NHL, and he's got a lot of. He's going to get a lot of opportunity this year. I think he's going to get a lot of opportunity in Columbus.
Right. We talk a lot about, the first game and the first goal that he scored, and just the story of that on the first NHL shot. I mean, you can't really beat that. That's like probably the best story that you could have for scoring your first NHL goal. But like you said, there's going to be so many more opportunities for him, I think, this year to play in the NHL, and not just this year, but of course he's going to be a guy, I think, that has a long career in the NHL. I mean, just from the skill that he has, and then that he was talking about playing in the D zone as well, and just how much he improved there and playing in the pro game. He's a guy that I just think will definitely be somebody who has a long career, and I think we'll see a lot more goals being scored from him in the NHL.
Yeah, he's going to be unbelievable. I want to thank Luca for coming on.
Yeah.
Trout Talk, of course. Thank you so much. Comes from a good family, former Steelheads alum, once a Steelhead, always a Steelhead, and of course, hopefully we'll see him soon on Trout Talk if he's not too busy. But once the NHL and AHL season starts, hopefully he'll be in the NHL. Might be tough for him to come on. All right, so thanks to Luca. Let's move on. Let's talk about this season so far. We've talked off air about it. Now we're going to talk on air about it. Trades that have been made by the Steelheads, and Luca, we talked about it, and Luca probably already said it. So acquiring Karson Rakoff, my goodness, for a lot of draft picks. Let's just say that, but well worth it. 50 goals last year. Team Canada. He's 19 years old. Seattle Kraken prospect. Brendan, I mean, he fits in quite well with the Steelheads team.
Yeah, I mean, he fits in. He fits in really well anywhere. Yeah, he fits in really well anywhere. I mean, a guy who can score like that. Of course, for much of the season last year, he was leading the OHL in goals, and he finishes with 50 plus goals last year. Now, putting him into the fold, and somebody who's going to be in Seattle camp as well. He's been drafted, so he'll get that experience being with Seattle to start this year. Maybe getting into some preseason games. I can see that's probably happening with him with Seattle. So getting that guy, putting him together with Porter Martone, who, I mean, I think everybody sort of knows is going to have a massive breakout year, being his draft year, and also not just being his draft year, but also being a year older too than a lot of the guys who are in their draft year as well, with the late birthday in October. So he's a guy that obviously we think is going to break out. And if you compare those two guys together, I mean, we could see two guys on this team with 50 plus goals. I don't think that's a massive prediction on my part of saying that. So really excited to see Karson Rakoff play. Of course, he got time with Team Canada at the World Juniors last year as well. So that's just another experience that he brings in here too, and can help these guys going forward on the ice, of course. But I know when James Richmond goes out and makes trades, he always makes trades for character players as well. And I think that it's not just the on ice part It's not just the on ice part that's appealing about Carson Rakoff, and he's going to come in here and he's going to be, I'm sure, a great leader and obviously a great player on the ice as well.
Yeah, exactly. You nailed it on the head. James Richmond, he doesn't just look at the player; he looks at the whole package. You got to be a good person and whatnot to play on James Richmond's teams, because James Richmond, he makes people better people, right? And I'll just say that too. And he's made me a better person, for example. I'm sure he's made you a better person. And when you're around James Richmond, just to say, but he makes people better people, and he drafts guys the whole. You got to be good on the ice, off the ice. You got to be that guy that James Richmond likes. So to trade for James Richmond to go all in on Carson Rakoff, it's huge. So they weren't done yet, though, the Steelheads. Let's talk about Spencer Sova. Now the Steelheads had 2 overage spots to fill. They got one filled with Spencer Sova. He is fast. He is a former captain of the Erie Otters. He is good on the power play. He is very, very good in the defensive zone. What a pickup.
Yeah, massive pickup for the Mississauga Steel, or for the Brampton Steelheads. Excuse me, man. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say that a few times this year. No, but yeah, a massive pickup. He's a guy who went to Buffalo camp in 22, Leafs camp in 23, New Jersey camp this year. So again, somebody who's had some experience doing that as well. And you mentioned it too, a former captain too, being the captain of the Erie Otters. I think that's a really big part of this deal as well. You're bringing in an overage guy who, like you said, there were 2 spots available, now 1 spot available with him and Stevie Leskovar filling in those 2 spots. You think about the leader they brought in last year, Mark Boudreau, as a part of the overage spot. I think that it can kind of, I'm not saying, I haven't met Spencer, so I don't know the personality. I'm not saying the personality is the same, but definitely the leadership is going to be there as a guy who was a captain in the OHL before. So again, like I said with Carson Rakoff, it's a big off-ice addition as well to being an on-ice addition. And like you said, I mean, the speed is really something that stands out when you see Spencer Sova play. And Luca mentioned that too. To be able to drive plays offensively is going to be big. Like you mentioned, playing on the power play is going to be big, because losing Chaz Sharp is definitely a big loss. So, I mean, he's going to be able to fill in that role a little bit and playing on possibly a top unit here in Brampton. And like you said, again, the power play and the defensive zone too. He's a guy that you really trust in the D zone as well. And he's somebody that, again, has the experience playing in this league, and it's massive for a team that's going all in this year.
Yeah, they're going all in. So let's talk about the lines. Like, I mean, you got the top line, could possibly Misa, Martone, and Carson Rakoff is your first line.
Yeah, I mean, it could go so many ways, and James Richmond doesn't leave the lines alone. He's going to be changing.
He likes to put it in a blender.
Yeah, he likes to mix them up. So I think we'll definitely be seeing that. But and we talk about those top guys, and Misa, who's drafted by Calgary this year, and Rakoff coming over, obviously Martone as well. But the depth on this team is also just really, really solid. And you look at a second line and somebody like Mason Zabeski, who got a camp invite this year as well. Angus McDonnell, a draft pick of Dallas. You have Lucas Karmiris also in his draft year, and I think he gets drafted in the NHL for sure. Yeah. And that's another guy who's going to be taking a big step forward this year. And the depth just continues to be strong on this roster.
I'm telling you right now, do you remember we had Lucas Karmiris on last year, and we talked about his draft year, being next year? And what happened after we had him on in Trout Talk? He went on a tear.
Yeah.
He went in an absolute tear, and he just dominated. So I think we have to have him on early. But that's one guy too. I expect to have a huge season for the Steelheads. Seeing him at the golf tournament and how focused he is still. He's very focused. He's so good defensively, so good on the draws. He's going to have a big year as well too. So not just him, a lot of Steelheads, my goodness me. But wow. Yeah.
The depth and Jack Van Volsen, another name that I haven't mentioned either. I mean, he's somebody too that you look at a third line guy there, possibly second line. I mean, you could see him all over the lineup, but a good player up the middle, good face-off guy. I think his offensive numbers probably tick up a little bit this year as well, just being a year older. And again, there's so many players that they can mix and match, and I don't necessarily think their offseason's done. There still will be moves to be made. Again, we talk about the OA spot being available. So I do see probably another move coming. If in the OA spot, probably a forward. I would think the defense looks pretty solid right now. I mean, it's possible that they go out and get another defenseman. I don't think that that's completely out of the question. But there's just so many combinations and so many ways that you could go about it. And again, I don't think it's a finished product yet.
No, I totally agree. And you talk about Jack Van Volsen, former #1 pick of the Peterborough Petes. The Steelheads traded for him. He was involved. I think there was 2 trades. He was involved in the Owen Beck trade, I believe. But here's a guy that didn't get drafted last year. He could go back in the draft if he has a big year this year. So look for him to have a huge year this year, Jack Van Volsen, as I call him, the commander. But yeah, I like it. He likes it. So that's it. He's the commander. But anyway, look for him to have a big year as well.
Right. No, right.
Right.
I completely agree. And then on the back end, if you're looking at guys to have a big year, I mean, Finn Harding and Parker Von Richter being a year older, both of those guys, I think, are definitely primed to have big seasons on the back end as well for the Steelheads. And we saw all these guys at the golf tournament. I think it was the same the year before too, but it's just like you really notice the growth from in the off season when you don't see them a lot. Because during the year, we see them pretty much every week. You definitely see them every week. So when you don't see them for a little while in the off season, and obviously they've been in the gym and getting stronger, and you can definitely tell for a lot of these guys.
Did you see Parker Von Richter? Holy moly. I said, how's it going, Parker? I go, you've grown. That's pretty. We just both started burst out laughing because he's working out. Right? Here's a guy that, remember when he started off when he was 16, he had the braces going on, little, skinny guy, this and that. Parker Von Richter's not like that anymore, ladies and gentlemen. He's he's a big boy. All right. So let's talk about preseason games that are coming up. It first starts with I believe the Guelph Storm on September 1st. And then September 6th against the Kitchener Rangers, and then September 7th against the Barrie Colts. And then I believe they play the Barrie Colts again. But bottom line, what I was going to say was us at Saga 960 will be broadcasting 2 of the preseason games. Okay, and that's confirmed because we had to find out about preseason. We don't usually we did it last year too, actually, but it's confirmed. And all 68 games, ladies and gentlemen, will be broadcast on Saga 960 AM and playoffs. So we hope for a big playoff run this year. Trout Talk, again, it will be on every hour before Sunday games, for Sunday home games or away games. So it will be hour before game time as well. And you can catch us on there, and we catch us on all the platforms, on Saga 960 platform, of course, on the Steelheads platform. But tune in, and we have a lot of guests coming up this year, and we got a beauty coming up next time. We're not going to let you. We're gonna we're gonna let you.
We're gonna hold on to it. We're gonna hold on to
that one too. But it's gonna be it's gonna be a special year this year, Brendan. It really is, and everybody's talking about it. But the thing is, okay, my last question for you before we sign off. On paper, looking at the teams in the Eastern Conference, who's close to the Steelheads right now, or who is in the Steelheads territory? Who's good? Who's going to be the team to beat?
I mean, I think the Steelheads are going to be the team to beat.
Yes, of course.
Realistically,
besides that, though.
Yeah, of course. No, I think you look at teams like Ottawa, they're always around there. I do think Ottawa's probably going to be up there as well. Brantford too, a younger team that's kind of moving along in the Steelheads sort of path. They were a team that kind of like the Steelheads last year. I don't think a lot of people thought they would be as good as they were. So I could see Brantford definitely being there. Definitely, again, being there as well. And then you look at a team like Kingston, and they've kind of had an odd off season where it was like last year, it seemed like they were selling off pieces to maybe look towards the future. And then they've kind of brought in some different guys. So it's just kind of an odd thing, but I'm looking at Ottawa and I'm looking at Brantford. I think both of those teams could definitely be challengers in the East.
Yeah, 100%. I look at this too. I'll just say this to piggyback what you're saying. Brantford, I totally agree with you, because Brantford, they have a lot of returnees as well coming back, but they've lost a lot of players too. So and they're a little thin in the goaltending spot, but they have a lot of draft capital with the trades they made last year with Jordan Donovan trading him. My goodness, they got like 100 draft picks, it seemed like, for him. So look for the GM there, Matt Turek. He's pretty good, so he'll probably make some adjustments there.
And also, and with Brantford, you talk about players making a jump. Merrick Van Acker is a guy who definitely will be making a jump this year too. So he's a guy to watch out for sure.
Yeah, we can't forget about the Oshawa Generals as well.
Yeah,
can't forget about that.
Definitely true. Yes.
Will Beckett Seneca be back? That's the big thing right now. So we'll find out. But you know what? We're gonna sign off right now. And before we sign off, life tip, anything? Before we sign off,
throw me on the spot here, Mikey. I don't have anything for you right now.
Yeah, neither do I. Actually, yeah, I do.
Yeah, you do? Okay.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
If you're in line at the grocery store, okay, and it says 1 to 16 items, that's what it's there for. 1 to 16 items, not 32, not 33, not 34. Please, grocery stores, enforce this, because it drives me crazy when I go shopping. So that's my life tip. Please go to the proper line. All right. All right. So dear. All right. So signing off. This is the second episode of Trout Talk right here. And Brendan, we have a long season ahead. And thanks for joining in, everybody. And hope you enjoyed the interview with Luca Del Bel Belluz. Next episode will be coming up in a couple weeks. Take care, everybody, and be safe.